Welcome everyone to McDugal Productions. This season has been a roller coaster ride for Josh Allen. From the 4-interception opening game against the Jets, beating down on weaker competition in the beginning part of the season, and a rocky middle part of the season, which led to the Ken Dorsey firing. One question has been asked by Bills Mafia over and over again. What is wrong with Josh Allen's deep ball? Why is it that Josh Allen and Stefon Diggs have just not gotten on the same page? Is Josh Allen regressing, becoming less accurate, or is there something going on between him and Diggs? Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a deep dive into this and try to figure it out. Coming off the divisional loss, I'm sure a lot of Bills fans are wondering what is behind the issues with drops on deep passes. It seems that either Josh Allen is underthrowing, overthrowing, or receivers are getting their hands on passes, but are rarely making the catch. So let's start off by looking at a deep ball that was successful this year. So let's start off with Week 18 against the Miami Dolphins. Josh Allen is in the shotgun, backpedals, there's a free runner off the edge, and throws nearly 60 air yards off his back foot. Diggs is downfield in close coverage by the cornerback. There's a beautiful throw and even better catch. Now let's take a deeper look into this amazing play. Once the ball is snapped, McGovern and Dawkins double team the end. But Dawkins is too slow getting off the double team to pick up the big blitzing linebacker. Let's look again. Instead of stepping up to the pocket and forcing the end and linebacker back towards the middle, Allen keeps backpedaling. Now why isn't Josh Allen stepping into the pocket? Could be that he doesn't like to, but look at Morse's positioning. He sees the blitzing linebacker, but he has his hands out towards right guard Torrance and doesn't come off soon enough to square up and block up the blitz. So what does Allen do? He could step up in the pocket and align between the center and right guard, but instead backpedals and throws off his back foot. So let's look at this again. Instead of stepping up, drifting right, and then planting, throwing deep, he starts moving backwards and throws it. So let's take a look at some of these throwing mechanics. Drifting to the left, facing the sideline, instead of the receiver, sweeping the back leg instead of transferring body weight. So let's talk a little bit about this play. An amazing but improbable throw based on the mechanics. Because of the body positioning, it required Allen to throw with his arm perfectly for it to work, and Diggs to have perfect body control and grip on the ball to survive the ground. But if this hadn't happened, the ball could have sailed out of bounds, been inaccurate, or been one of the many examples of arm punts we saw from Allen this year. Let's take a look at a similar play when the throw didn't go well. Sticking with the Week 18 game, let's take a look at the deep ball to Diggs that was overthrown. Here we have Bills in shotgun with pressure up the middle and throws to Diggs just a little outside his reach. So let's slow this down and take a look at what may have gone wrong on this play. As Allen goes back to pass, let's zoom in and focus on his footwork. Right-handed quarterbacks should have their feet a little over shoulder width with the front foot about 6 inches slightly off center to the left. This is a perfect setup for Josh Allen here. But when we slow this down, we see that as he steps forward to throw, he pulls his foot even further to the left, meaning that he is off balance when he goes to throw, leading to an overthrow. So why is it that one pass is completed and another one isn't? When mechanics break down, a quarterback's arm must adjust to the uneven body positioning, making a pass with a high degree of difficulty even more difficult to complete. Okay, so Josh Allen's mechanics are a little off, but is this a Ken Dorsey problem? Did it pop up during the second half of last season, or is this something that's been going on for a while? Let's take a look back to 2022, opening game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Unfortunately, there is no All-22 for this game, but if you watch the footwork, you can see that because he is shuffling his feet, he is not able to set quick enough before starting his throw. So he begins his arm movement at the same time as his body rotation, so rather than rotating and pulling his arm through, this is all occurring simultaneously, and requires him to torque his arm himself, making it a much more difficult throw. Now if we slow this down even more, and look at his footwork, the step forward has the slight off center to the left step that we're looking for, but it is instead the timing of the movements that contributed to the pass being inaccurate. Taking this deep dive shows you that Allen has all the mechanics that he needs to be successful, but something simple as shuffling feet too often can affect those mechanics and make a difficult throw less likely to be accurate. Now while Allen struggled to move the ball against Pittsburgh, he also struggled during the opening week matchup against the Jets this year, but in a much different way than how he did in 2022. A game that most of Bills Mafia would prefer to forget, Allen threw 4 interceptions this game. So let's take a deep dive into those interceptions to see what the issues were. Here we have Josh Allen in the shotgun, and even though the pocket is nearly perfect, he escapes the pocket early and throws too deep across the middle for an interception. So taking another look at the mechanics of this throw, Allen's front foot isn't stepping towards his target and is trying to throw across his body, off balance, deep into double coverage. Obviously a bad read and a Hail Mary type throw, but even if you're going to attempt this type of jump ball, poor mechanics will make a nearly impossible throw almost guaranteed to be an interception. Obviously there were completions in this game. One such completion was an absolute laser to Gabe Davis on a 20-yard completion in between 2 defenders. Let's break this throw down and see how it looks in terms of mechanics. Here we have Josh Allen play action pass under center. He stays in the pocket, hops instead of shuffling his feet, faces his target, and steps into the throw, delivering it just as Davis breaks his route. It's a great pass from start to finish. Let's look at another completion in this game, this time one that is done off script. This throw is similar to the long pass delivered to Diggs in the Week 18 Miami game. However, this is a much easier throw to complete off platform due to the fact that it is much shorter and the receiver is directly in front of Allen. Not an easy pass by any means, but it is much more likely to complete when throwing 10 yards to an open receiver than 50 yards down the field with sticky coverage. Now let's take a look at this throw. Allen's non-throwing shoulders facing the sideline, his body is facing the target, feet shuffling, and the throw is done completely with his arm. You can see that although Allen is able to put quite an amount of zip on the ball, it is low, requiring Knox to fall to the ground to ensure that he can complete the catch. This type of throw is something that the NFL quarterbacks need to be able to complete off platform, but if he was able to use proper throwing mechanics to throw accurately, Knox would have had an opportunity to turn upfield for extra yards, or even one of those anger runs we saw from him during his rookie year against the Bengals. Next, we do a deep dive into another Josh Allen interception during the Jets Week 1 game. This interception is a little different because instead of Josh Allen rolling out and throwing off his back leg, he is in the pocket, standing strong, and trying to deliver a throw. In this play, Josh Allen is in shotgun, he stays in the pocket, and tries to deliver deep down the middle just as he's hit by Quinnen Williams. So let's take another deep dive into this interception. So here we will break down what happened with this throw. Just as Allen is going to throw, he has pressure up the middle, and instead of trying to evade, he tries to get off the throw before he is hit. But as you can see, he is squared up to the direction that he's trying to throw, similar to the Dawson Knox play, but this time he is throwing deep down the middle to Diggs, who is double covered. In order for this throw to be accurate, he is going to need to make the throw completely with his arm, since he is not able to rotate his lower body to build up the torque he needs to make a long pass. Additionally, if we go frame by frame, we can see that although Quinnen Williams certainly impacts Josh Allen's throw, he isn't being hit while he throws, so it is not an issue of a hit affecting the trajectory of his pass, rather it is the setup of the throw that leads it to be inaccurate downfield. Now of course this type of throw is probably going to be intercepted regardless because of the double coverage, but with proper mechanics it is possible to at least give Stephon Diggs a jump ball opportunity, rather than it being yards too far and way out of reach. This really goes to show that Allen has the willingness to try to make plays both inside and outside of the pocket. We have seen Allen be successful making throws within the pocket numerous times each game. But is improper mechanics with pressure just a matter of how Josh Allen plays, or is there something different going on here? Let's take a look back all the way to 2018, a highlight play that is beloved by Bills Mafia, to see if that is true. In this play, Josh Allen is under center, play action to Chris Ivory, moves up in the pocket, delivers a strike to Robert Foster, who is in single coverage from the safety for the long touchdown. Now let's break this down a little further to see what went well on this play. Josh Allen moves up in the pocket, keeping a wide base so that way he can throw at any time he starts to feel pressure. Looking closer at his footwork, as he is sliding, he keeps his feet in the proper positioning, so that when he does step into his throw, he can extend his foot forward, rather than having to adjust it as he is moving into his throw. This gives him the opportunity to instead focus on the throw itself, rather than setting himself up to deliver a long pass. Next, let's look at how he moves in the pocket. Instead of moving out of the pocket, he slides up, allowing the rushers to run past him, standing tall and letting the interior linemen hold their ground to give Allen a chance to deliver the ball. So was this a Ken Dorsey problem or a Brian Daboll solution? It's possible that Brian Daboll focused more on fundamentals than Ken Dorsey did, although it is also possible that Daboll was more successful in getting Josh to accept feedback since it was early in his career and he was still growing as a QB. This deep dive has shown that the biggest area for growth for Allen is to understand in what circumstances certain passes are highly unlikely to be successful, how to better set himself up in his mechanics on off-platform throws, and what passes are better to use in certain off-platform situations. Allen would also benefit from working on his pocket presence, navigating the pocket first, rather than immediately escaping. This will punish opposing defenses who rely on a spy. Because Allen isn't escaping as quickly, it will make it even more dangerous when he does decide to escape and either throw on the run or scramble for yards. Additionally, the Bills coaching staff may want to reevaluate their scramble drill rules and break off certain routes in ways that may better align with Allen's throwing style rather than always going deep. I think that Gabe Davis was his best in years when those rules had him break off routes to the sideline rather than deep, showed off his ability to get both feet down before going out of bounds. From what I observed this year, a lot of off-platform rules have had receivers breaking deep or running towards Josh Allen instead of breaking towards him horizontally. Josh Allen's mechanics are not broken, but relying too much on arm throws when throwing deep may have contributed to his increased interceptions on long passes this year. Once again, welcome to McDugal Productions, and thanks to everybody who joined me today for this NFL deep dive. I plan on exploring other areas relating to the Buffalo Bills. Feel free to drop a like and subscribe if you like this content, and leave a comment on your thoughts on Josh Allen's performance this year, what you liked, and what you didn't. If there's any other areas related to the Buffalo Bills, or any team around the NFL you'd like a deeper dive on, feel free to leave a comment below, and it may make it into a future video.